Hi, my name is Sherise, and I'm here to tell my story. I think God played a trick on me. I asked many years ago for a lot of kids. He gave me a lot of kids. 2 biological kids and 2 foster kids. They're my babies. And this is my story.
I ain't that shit.
It's about self-empowerment. It's about self-awareness. It's about self-respect.
Hey, welcome to another episode of I Ain't That Chick. It's Natay and I'm here with my guest. Please say hello to our audience.
Hello, how are you?
So now in your intro, you talked about being a mom. And some people become moms the conventional way. You know, they get with somebody and, you know, all that good stuff. And they have a baby. Some people are set on adopting a baby. And some people just don't have kids at all. So tell me your story about becoming a mom.
Well, my story begins really about wanting a lot of children. I thought I would do the traditional thing, get married and have a lot of kids. And so I did get married.
Okay.
I did have a child.
Okay.
And then, God, I asked you for a lot of kids. Where they at? I know you are hearing, God.
Ooh, yeah.
Where my baby's at? Because now I'm divorced. And I have a child.
Yeah, but that wasn't enough. You divorced and one baby, that wasn't enough.
No, absolutely not. Because I know what it feels like to be an only child. And so growing up as an only child, my children are 15 years apart. And with that being said, I did suffer a little bit with pregnancy issues.
Okay.
So that might have a big part in why my kids are 15 years apart. And then, if it's your will, God,
You wanted more.
I wanted more still.
Girl.
After 15 years being apart, I was happy with the second child then because I said, okay, again, if it's God's will, it will be. If not, then I'll be satisfied with the 2. Moving a little quicker, further on, my foster children are relatives.
Okay.
And they're 2 girls. So I have 4 girls.
4 girls. Now, how did you become a foster parent?
I became a foster parent through a family member. There are 10 children in the family. And my cousin had already had a few of them. And so the 2 that I have are the latter of the 10. And so she moved the process forward for me. This is what you have to do. This is how you do it. And then she introduced me to DYFS.
Okay, DYFS.
Yeah. So she introduced me to the foster care system. And the family had already had a social worker. They were already involved. So all they needed to do was welcome me in. The process wasn't the greatest.
Okay, how was the process?
The process was a very bumpy road, and they were not as compliant as I would have loved for them to be. That being said, I dealt with these children. I had them for almost a year before anything came through for them. And not just the funds that I would be talking about, but I needed beds, I needed clothes, I needed, because they literally came like a thief in the night. They came at 12 in the midnight hour.
Suddenly. Oh, so you didn't have any, there was no discussion like, hey, you know, I'm pregnant and I have these kids. And
no.
Just knock on the door.
In fact, I didn't think I was going to get them because their older sister, who was old enough, she's an adult, can take them, and she took them.
Okay.
But then she had just had a baby, and she couldn't handle them.
Okay.
And so one was 1 and the other was 4.
Wow. And so one night, they just
popped up at the door. I was satisfied with the structure. I was satisfied with how my life was going. My mom was elderly at the time, so I'm living with my mother and my 2 children. My father was deceased, so it's just us.
Right.
And, you know, my mom was the caregiver. She took care of the kids. She did what I needed to do. I got to rip and run.
Right.
You know, this little spoiled.
Yeah, exactly.
I was living. I was good.
Okay.
Cruising. I was all over the place, you know. But then my mom passes.
Okay.
And then 2 or 3 years later, the offer comes up. And so, wow, how do I do this? Because I'm really not a mom just by myself. I was a mom with my mom.
That's a good point.
You know, so now I have to be a mom to my own children, and now somebody else is asking me to be a mom to their children.
And you have a choice in this matter. So your own kids you can't get back.
No, I couldn't.
But you had a choice.
And I still don't feel like I have a choice. These children need. They're not asking. They weren't asked. They didn't say, "Oh, excuse me, I want to leave my parents.
Right.
Let me come over there and live with you."
Right.
They were forced into me, you know, and so how do I turn my back and say now, oh, and they were They came with their baggage.
So now, had you had relationship with them before they came?
I grew up with their father. Their father is my first cousin.
Okay.
And my father and his mother were extremely close.
Okay.
That was his baby sister, so she could do no wrong.
Right.
And so I grew up around them. I'm also not only an only child, but the youngest grandchild. So I got spoiledness coming from every kind of direction, all kinds. And so him and his sister spoiled me a lot.
Okay.
So when he has these 10 children, I don't say no. I want to give them back on several occasions because I have this 4-year-old who is determined to go home. And so a plug-in, my book is called Take Me Home, a foster child's cry. She consistently, I want my mother, I want my mother. You are not my mother, because her sister, who is 1, consistently calls me mommy. That's not your mommy, that's not your mommy. Don't call you mommy, don't cut. She threw pee in my daughter's face. Whoa. She told the system that I left them home for the weekend with a dog. And she ate dog food in the water. She called the police. She called the fire department. Oh. So yes, there are many moments that I could have given her back.
I would have probably, most people probably would have wanted to every moment, because here you are trying to do a good thing. Yes. And you have so much opposition from the child that needs your help.
But you learn. I tell my kids, or I tell friends, adults, you learn from every aspect of life. Never stop thinking that you can't learn, and never stop thinking that you can't learn from a child, because they teach you. And they don't just teach you them, they make you listen and pay attention to yourself. And so I got that from my own children, but now I'm taking care of somebody else's kids that I feel like I don't have to listen to at all. I'm just a little bed in a house, a roof, and eventually your parents are going to come back and get you. That was my process. Right. And that's what got me through it. Your mother and father's coming. Your mother and father's coming. And then when your mother and father doesn't come 3, 4, 5 years later, and now that 4-year-old who didn't want to be there says, can I now call you mommy?
What does that feel like? Ooh, that just gave me a little goosebumps.
I think I was a mother all over again. Like I literally just birthed another child. That's what I felt like. I really felt like, wow, everything you think in life you've done wrong or could do over, that moment was like, wow, I just rebirthed. Wow. I rebirthed myself as well. What am I doing? I've done something now.
So for somebody else that may want to be a mom, may not be married, just may not be able to give birth, may not have had the opportunity, and maybe they may encounter a situation like yours where, you know what, maybe I can adopt, or maybe I can become a foster parent. What would you say to them?
I would say definitely do your research. I think research is definitely a necessity. And please know yourself. Be prepared and be grounded. Have some spiritual background, because you're going to be asking God for help on many a day.
Do you feel like God answered your prayer?
God has definitely. That was is my ending question to a lot of people. Do I think God answered my prayers? God answers all our prayers. You know, you have to be mindful and careful of what you ask for, because He definitely answers. And so how are you going to get it? You have to be prepared for it.
You got to be open for that.
You better be prepared, because you never know how you get it. So I have my 4 children. I asked for 4 or 5. I have 4. And I have 2 godchildren who really call on me.
So when you are by yourself, maybe sitting on the side of your bed, and you're thinking about your babies, what are your dreams and your hopes for your babies?
Well, I want them to learn that you are not that chick. I want them to learn that I am not that chick, because how I teach you and what I do for you every day helps you be a better you. That everything that I do and everything I say is not to hurt you, not to hinder you, not to make you fail, but everything that I do is to always make you bigger and better than who I am.
Want to find out more about I Ain't That Chick? Visit our website at www.iaintthatchick.com.